Good afternoon. So today, Jessica is making her homemade meatloaf, and we're going to show you how we do it. Happy Friday, by the way. Kicking off Memorial Day weekend with a good dinner. Thursday night for us, Friday morning for you guys. Should be a lot of fun. Let's get to it. Okay, so the very first thing that we do here is we wrap our baking pan here in aluminum foil, because we're going to set the big meatloaf on top of here.
Yeah, I don't have a loaf pan like most people will probably do. So
This works
obviously
fine.
I don't put it in this entire pan. I just make like a big loaf and just set it in the center and it just cooks that way. But
Yeah.
and I spray it obviously with a no stick. Just I don't really think it needs it with the foil in there, but I always do just so that it doesn't.
Helps it from sticking. Yeah. So you say that's about 2 pounds?
Yeah, I mean I usually use about 2 pounds so that we can have leftovers.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It just depends, because it does shrink a little bit when you cook it the way I cook it, since I don't have a pan that it's like formed in.
Yeah.
I don't know if that really makes a difference. It probably shrinks in one of those pans too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's about 2 pounds of meat.
And she took half a...
So, the recipe
breadcrumbs.
that I use, I mean, I kind of just like created my own little thing that I do, but it uses a half a cup of breadcrumbs, but I don't have breadcrumbs, so I usually just use Ritz crackers
So,
that I just crumble
because
up.
this meatloaf is always fantastic, and you've never used breadcrumbs, always Ritz crackers,
Yeah,
I would just stick with using Ritz
I'm
crackers.
sure it probably doesn't matter, because I don't know that you would really tell the difference. Basically, all you are using, I think it's mostly just for like your binding for your thing. But, I mean, so I pretty much just took a half a thing. I don't know if this is going to be enough. It might be too much, but that's okay. But I have a half a cup here. So yeah, if you have breadcrumbs, you can totally use breadcrumbs instead of...
I recommend using the Ritz crackers.
I mean, yeah, it's Ritz crackers.
And her meatloaf is the best on the planet.
A big old mess here.
Oh,
So
that's
it's made even more of a mess. You have to make a mess when you cook or it doesn't taste good.
Right.
Okay, so half a cup.
Yep.
Ritz crackers or breadcrumbs, whichever you choose.
Ritz crackers.
That goes in. Let me just clean a tad.
So 1 egg.
So I use 1 egg, but I whip it up before I put it in there. So like I beat it up first.
Whisk it.
Yeah, just so that it is all combined, because I feel like it makes it easier to combine everything together if it's already whisked, whatever that word is.
Yeah.
Whipped together.
We're giving away some of our secrets here.
So I beat it up first. You probably don't have to do that. I'm sure you probably could just throw it in there. But I beat it up
no, I
first.
feel like it. I'm not really too sure, but I feel like it would help hold it together more. I was saying some people can see our secrets. They're probably looking at the butternut bread over here. Yes, we like butternut bread. We try to find a deal on it. Also, real quick, before you do any further, let me explain these. So Jessica made these awesome blueberry muffins a couple days ago?
Yeah.
They are freaking delicious.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. Were those easy to make?
I just got one of those, like, packages, like the boxes that kind of looks like the cake mix, but it was for blueberry muffins, and it already had... Because I was always curious how you make blueberry muffins, if you put your own blueberries in it, or if it came with it. But there's like a little tin, kind of like a tuna can tin, in there with blueberries, and you just drain them and mix it all together.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was pretty easy. I forgot to put the eggs in it at first, so I had to like remix them into the batter, but it still worked out. So they might actually rise more than this because of the way that I ended up doing it, but they taste really good.
Yeah, they're delicious.
And it was like a Betty Crocker mix, so it was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So what are we adding here?
So next I put in all my spices, and everybody probably does their meatloaf different. I'm just showing how I do my meatloaf, and these are the spices that I like tested with and did. So this is what I use. So I use a teaspoon of onion powder. Put that in. I use a teaspoon of garlic powder. didn't. This one's almost gone. Ah!
I know they were out of it the other day at Kroger.
So a teaspoon of garlic powder. Put a little touch extra in there because it wasn't all the way full. And I use a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And I know this seems pretty weird. And at first, when I was, because I kind of combined a couple recipes when I was looking for the recipe, and this was in one of them, and I was like, that seems kind of weird. But it does give the meat like a good flavor, like a herby flavor,
earthy flavor.
Yeah. So I do a teaspoon of that, and then
wait a minute, what is that again?
Italian seasoning.
Okay.
Then I do salt. I usually just
salt.
grind a bunch of it in there because it probably would equal about a teaspoon too, but I don't measure it. I just kind of eyeball it, and then I do pepper.
Oh yeah. Nothing like good old salt and pepper to flavor it.
Yeah. And I mean, and like I said, depending on how big of a meatloaf you're making or what your tastes are, you can put any kind of flavorings in there that you want. It's not, this is just what I use.
Yeah.
So, and the next ingredient probably would be controversial too, because I think some people make their meatloaf way different.
No, I don't know.
But we use barbecue sauce.
Yeah, I've showed everybody what we use.
I know that most people probably use ketchup. And it's really funny. I absolutely love ketchup, but I do not like ketchup in meatloaf.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just like the cooked aspect of it.
It's because you've tried the sweet brown sugar.
But I like it with meatloaf. It tastes with barbecue sauce. It tastes so much better
It is
with barbecue
better.
sauce.
Yeah.
So you put a half a cup of barbecue sauce in your meatloaf, like mixture.
Okay.
And then we also top it with barbecue sauce afterwards. So I think all in all, you probably use, I would say, about a cup of barbecue sauce because you put a half a cup in and then you cover the meatloaf with it. Once it's already like a loaf.
Yeah. Also, this week, they have the Kraft barbecue sauces on sale. And what's important, they actually have them for $1.25 a bottle right now. So it's a pretty good deal. Normally $1.39. So. And
we had this one already open. And I knew it wasn't going to be enough. I mean, this is pretty much enough just for the inside of it. So we have an extra one. This is a half a cup.
Half a cup.
And that goes inside the mixture. So you just mix it in there with the mixture. And
I'm not kidding, guys. This is the best meatloaf on the planet.
I just take a spoon and make sure I get all of that out of there.
And, you know, I know a lot of people put onions in their meatloaf, but Jessica's not a big fan of onions. But when she puts the onion salt and the...
Well, that's why I put the onion powder because
yeah.
I don't like
the consistency.
Onions. I don't like the texture of them.
Yeah.
If you like them, put them in there. And you don't have to use the onion powder.
If you do put them in there, though, I would recommend putting them in real fine. Don't put like chunks of onion in there because it'll all break up.
Yeah. And I'm sure some other people probably put other things in it. You know, make it however you want. This is how
if you want the best meatloaf on the planet, this is how you do it.
I mean, it's really good. So
I was shocked. I was like, this is fantastic. So you basically created this, right? You edited everything.
Yeah, I mean, she
even wrote it all down so she didn't forget. Because I told her one time, I said, this is the best meal you've ever made. Or what did I say? Something like that.
Best meatloaf. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I was looking up different recipes to make meatloaf, and everybody has different recipes. Some people make meatloaf with brown gravy instead of ketchup. Some people, like us, use barbecue sauce. Some people put everything in the kitchen sink in it. It's like...
Right.
So I was trying to find one that I could adapt to what I like because I'm very particular with, like, flavors and stuff. And I found one, and I kind of, like, took parts of one recipe and another recipe and just kind of, like, molded them together.
Yeah.
And I was just like, let's just see what happens, you know?
Made what you thought would sound good.
I'm sure that it really doesn't matter because it's just meat, and you're just putting it all in the meat. Like, you know, it's...
Oh, it matters.
It's
no,
I'm
glad you wrote all this down because now, you know, we have it for life. So, you know, in case we forget or anything, it's...
Yeah, and I did write everything down, like, as I was doing it step by step, so that way I could do it again if it turned out the right way, and it did, so. Yeah. I mean, it's a very similar process to making meatballs, really.
Right. Just one big meatball.
Yeah, obviously you don't put barbecue sauce in it. I mean, you can, I guess, if you want to. And I just kind of mix it up until everything's incorporated in there. You don't really want to over mix it because you don't want your meat to get, like, all hard and...
Right.
Or... what is that word I'm looking for?
Seized up.
Yeah.
So people were asking on the channel if we would substitute this barbecue sauce. We're going to buy extra of this barbecue sauce just to make sure. Because we have been hearing that the Kraft barbecue sauces have kind of been flying off the shelves lately. We did buy other barbecue sauce, but we didn't substitute for this. We just waited until I was able to pick it up the other day.
Yeah, we've never tried. I mean, I'm sure you could use any kind you like.
But if we can
We've
get
never
this,
tried yet. This is the kind that we like. It just has like a good flavor to it.
Yeah. Maybe any. I mean, I do think the breast.
Any kind.
Sorry, we're not
really.
used to doing cooking videos.
Any kind you could use. Because when we were at Meijer the other day, I saw the brown sugar and the
Sugar Ray,
the Sweet Baby Ray.
Sweet Baby Ray, yeah.
And
Sugar Ray.
I don't know. It's like
it was a knockout.
Once you start making a recipe with particular ingredients, you kind of almost feel like you have to keep making it with those ingredients or it's not going to taste the same.
Right.
Which that could just be like a in my head thing. But
well, I think somebody suggested that we could, if we had to get a regular barbecue sauce, we could add brown sugar.
I mean, if we needed to, if
but
it ever came to that where I couldn't find certain ingredients, I would just adapt it to whatever I was able to get at that time.
You know what I need to get? I need to get those fancy lights that like pro YouTubers have in the background so that we can light you up good.
Sorry, we're not.
Yeah, we don't have great lighting here in our kitchen.
Yeah, so this is always a fun part, I guess.
The transfer?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just take big old wad.
It's like a giant brain.
And I just kind of put it over here, and then I basically just form it into a big old loaf.
And then you cover this with barbecue sauce again, right? Do you do that now or at the end?
I do that after I'm done forming it before it goes in the oven. Oh, we turn the oven on. I forgot to do that.
One big meatloaf.
It is a pretty huge.
This is probably the biggest one you've ever made. But it's for the show, so what did you need?
I did turn the oven on to 350.
350. Gotcha.
I do it for 350. I don't know. I'm sure everybody's recipes could be adjusted to whatever you do. I do it for 350 for 50 minutes.
50 minutes?
50 minutes.
Yeah.
And I leave it sit for 10 minutes before I take it out. And like you'll see a lot of juices around the edges. But I think it's mostly just, that's probably what you would see at the bottom of your pan if you had a loaf pan.
We usually pull it off when we're done.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it however you
But one thing I will say too, real quick, is what is today? May 26th, 2022. Meijer's has this sale going on. You guys will see this on Friday, so the sale will be over by Saturday night. So I would get to Meijer. I know everybody doesn't have Meijer, but $1.99 a pound hamburger, the 80/20, and it is some of the best hamburger out there. We've grown to like Sam's mostly because Meijer's gotten really expensive. But I'll tell you what, Meijer's meat is really good.
Does that look good?
Yeah.
I just kind of, I mean,
that is huge.
I don't have
and it does. It's not. It's not flat either. It's about what 2 inches?
Pretty thick.
Probably 2 inches thick.
So yeah, I just kind of make it work in the pan that I have. So I just kind of like.
That's gonna be leftovers for days.
Press it out.
Who wants to come over for dinner?
But yeah, if you have a loaf pan, obviously it would probably fit in one.
But I don't know though. I think it's actually better this way because you're gonna get the crisp edges like you do. So that would probably happen in a loaf pan.
I just do it this way because I don't have a loaf pan.
Yeah, well, we need to get one.
Now comes the covering. So this is just the rest of that bottle that I had. I'm just gonna use as whatever left in here.
It's funny. I don't even think we needed the other one.
Yes, we did.
But we'll need it in the future anyway.
Because this isn't enough.
Yeah. Trying to get good lighting here.
Sorry.
Since
I do it the way I do it without having a loaf pan, I cover all the sides. I don't cover just the top. I actually cover everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So I put it all over the place. Obviously, the top will have a whole lot more, but I do spread it around all the sides and everywhere.
Yeah, I don't say anything because
the barbecue sauce kind of melts off a little bit, so some of it does kind of disappear. But basically, that's it.
And if you've never tried the barbecue sauce. I know a lot of people traditionally use ketchup,
Yeah.
but if you've never tried the barbecue sauce, try it. If you like, now if you don't like
Yeah, if
barbecue
you don't
sauce,
like
then
barbecue
yeah,
sauce,
just
do
use
it
ketchup. But
however
I'm telling
you-
you right now, this was the difference maker for me.
Yeah,
I
I
was
might have used
never
a little too much.
really a. That's all right. Just kind of like
It's all good.
just keep basting.
Yeah. It's funny because when I do this
I'll
part,
spread that out right
I always feel like there's too much barbecue sauce. But
Yeah.
when I take it out of the pan, like you'll see
Yeah.
later when we take it out of the
Yeah,
pan.
it'll be caked in there.
Well, it's almost like it just like disappeared, like it sucks it into it, and I think that's what some of the liquid is too, is this barbecue sauce burning off.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh man, should I have put more sauce in there? But I think that this
Yeah.
is probably plenty.
Yeah, that's definitely plenty.
It was probably a little more than a half
But-
a cup, but that's okay. So.
No, that's perfect. Like a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So now we just put it in the oven?
So now we put it in the oven.
All right.
Well, once it heats up, I didn't turn the oven on in time. So I'll put
Oh,
it
it's
in the oven for 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I make mashed potatoes, and we do corn, but I usually do roasted corn where I just fry it in the
Ooh,
pan.
we're going to show everybody how you do that.
Yeah, so
That is
But I
delicious.
normally don't start making that until there's
This
still
is
about like
almost
20
done.
minutes or so
Right.
left to go, because the corn does take about 10 minutes to
Yeah.
cook, and the potatoes take like no time because they're instant potatoes.
Right. The Idahoan potatoes.
yeah.
People always say, like,
mean,
why do
they-
I point those out so much? Because we love them.
I mean, they take hours to whip and
Oh,
make sure
yeah.
you get all the.
But she has
Bubble
done it,
out.
and you know, it's always good. Always.
So yeah.
Everything Jessica
So we'll
makes
show all that too.
has a
but
lot of love in it.
Once this goes in the oven, it'll go in for 50 minutes, but I have to wait for it to fully heat up before I
Okay.
pop it in there. So
So we'll be back here once we start roasting the corn. Okay, so we've got the potato mix in here, the Idahoan potato. What do you call it? Dehydrated potatoes?
I guess.
We're going to rehydrate them.
Yeah.
And we got our Del Monte corn. Now, we do get our corn from Sam's Club, as you all know. So it is, what is it, $6.48 for an 8-pack?
How much it is now?
And we're going to
but-
have to go back because we've been getting comments that Sam's Club's gone up. But it was $6.48 for an 8-pack of the corn.
I feel like it was more than that, but I don't remember.
No, it's $6.48. It had actually gone down because sorry, major close up there. It was $6.98 for the peas, remember, and then all of them went down to $6.48. So
Anyway, I drained the corn before I put it in the pan. I put a little bit of oil in here just to kind of get
it's
it
just vegetable oil.
cooking. Yeah, vegetable oil.
Now you can use.
I'm sure you could use
any
any
oil.
oil that you
Yeah.
like if you don't like.
But I'll tell you
particular-
what, this is done. This is perfect. So pepper.
Put salt and pepper in it.
We are using the McCormick's sea salt and pepper.
I mean, yeah, you can use any kind you want. We use the grinders.
People
I
on the
have
channel.
regular salt too and pepper, but
Yeah. People swear by McCormick's though.
and then I just kind of let it cook for a while. You probably won't see anything for a while. I mean, you will because
Yeah.
we'll clip it out.
We'll just edit
but
this out.
It takes a little while. I just kind of let it sit for a while, and then it starts to brown,
So you got-
and then it kind of starts to pop a little bit. But
Yeah.
I just basically brown it just to give it kind of like a more roasted
Yeah.
flavor, and it's really good.
It is good. So you put it a little above medium here.
Well, our heat
It's hotter than
is
most.
ridiculously hot,
Yeah.
so I just try to keep it to where I know it's not going to burn,
Right.
but to where I know it's going to cook a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's about, I don't know, 8 or so minutes left on the meatloaf, so
Yeah.
this takes about 15 minutes
Yeah.
to cook. So
And
I
that's
figured I would
mostly
start
just
on
getting
this.
it up to the heat.
Just getting it to the temperature,
Right.
and then it starts to brown.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of mix it around until most of the sides are brown.
Sorry.
Don't touch it good. Yeah, so you can kind of see it starting to
Browning up a little.
brown a little bit. Mm-hmm. Those like spots that are on the pan that once you like kind of scrape them up,
That's the good
it's
stuff.
good.
Yeah. A nice crispness to them.
Yeah.
Okay, so our little buzzer went off here, and meatloaf is done. You will
You can
have
see what I mean, how like it kind of
Yeah.
shrunk up a little bit.
Yeah.
And the sauce kind of spread a little.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever. It's still
If
fine.
you use a leaner meat, it won't do as much of that.
Actually, I don't feel like it did as much as it normally does.
No, it didn't. Yeah, it looks a lot... looks the same.
Yeah, so it's got
I was going to say better than normal, but it's always good.
It has to sit for like 10 minutes or so before we can cut into it and eat it, but that'll give me time to... She cuts into it just to make sure I cut into it to make sure the inside's cooked all the way. If it needs to cook a little longer. I've never had to, so usually it's good. So that gives me time to finish the corn and the potatoes, and then we'll be done. Also, if you would like to see one of Jessica's other talents... I think you've shown that. Have I shown this before? Yes. Oh, well... They can see it again. We get new viewers every day, so they may miss some of the talents. Jessica made this here. This is gorgeous. I love this. Are you eating it? I was gonna taste it, but it's really hot, so I don't want to burn my face off. Yeah, don't do that. Look at that. I saved my shirt from grease. Oh, good job. I just walk around with this apron on. Right. I heard your jaw pop. Mm-hmm. It's good? Yes. I can tell by the glow in your eyes. It's so good. Okay, so we got our boiling hot water. So people probably do this different. You can do this on the stove. I just boil 2 cups of water in the microwave and then just make it this way. She puts it on for 4 minutes. Well, whatever I know is going to make it boiling. Yeah. And then just mix up the potatoes. You can boil the water on the stove. I just think it's easier to just do it in the microwave. Yeah. And just mix them up. So easy. Yeah. And buttery. You don't even have to add butter. They're so buttery. And we get all different kinds. We get the Wisconsin butter. Yeah. Sometimes, like, certain meals, I'll add, like, some shredded cheese into, like, the regular plain ones. Just to make them a little bit more cheesy. But with this, we usually just have the leave them plain. And because we have it with the corn. You can add a little butter if you need to. Yeah, you can add whatever, obviously. People are probably saying now, like, oh, this is why Danno always seeks out the Idahoan potatoes. Yep, and so that's it. The corn's done. I like to roast it pretty brown. Yeah. I mean, you can do it to however you like. If you only like it a little bit, whichever way you like it in the meatloaf. So it's all done. Let's plate it up. We'll take a look. Okay, so here's the finished product. Sorry, I'm using the light on my phone here to kind of light it up some. It's real dark outside too. Usually we get a lot of natural light, but it's cloudy and overcast. This looks phenomenal. We're gonna eat and then we'll chat about it here in just a few minutes. What a meal! Oh, so delicious. Jessica, you know, we have been having a lot of viewers want Jess to show off some meals, so we wanted to do a little video putting together one of her best. Who knows? Maybe we'll do this again here in the future. What do you guys say? I don't know. Guys, have a happy Memorial Day weekend. We're going to be putting out videos over the weekend. Going to probably do a couple and kind of just put them out. Make sure tonight, because it's Friday for you guys, so make sure to join us tonight on the live show. We're going to hang out, just chat about things, have a good time. Should be a lot of fun. But, yeah, that meatloaf is fantastic. Oh, I remember. What? We were going to say that it only was like $7 to make. Oh, yes. Yeah, well, with the spices. Well, because we already have all the spices, which I feel like most people probably have a lot of those spices already in their cabinet. Yeah. But since we got the meat on sale and everything, it came out to about $7 for the whole meal, which is pretty good. So we figured average. Now we obviously, because of the Memorial Day sale, it was $1.99 a pound. We figured maybe $3.99 a pound on average, maybe $4.99. You can make this entire meal for $10. Yeah, I mean for us it was $7, but yeah, you probably could. Yeah. You could definitely make it for $10 or less. Making it a great meal where you will have lunch for the next day. And depending on how much you eat, maybe the day after that too. Yeah. We'll be lucky if it lasts through the night for us. Because I'm still hungry. I'm going to have seconds, maybe thirds. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. With all that being said, we are out. And always remember, the adventure is out there.